All right, what is going on, guys? NBA regular season, it's here. I am so excited. I know a lot of you are as well. We only have two games today, so I do want to mention again. I talked about it in my video, but don't go crazy here in the slate, right? There's a good amount of unknowns. With some rotations, right? One of the big unknowns is Golden State, right? We know Wiseman is starting. How many minutes does he play? How many minutes does Looney get? I think, is Chris for sure going to be in the rotation? I'm not fully convinced, right? So there's unknowns there. With the Clippers, right, we have a new coach. So what is the rotation going to be? Obviously, Marcus Morris out, assuming Batum is going to start, but there's some question marks there. And then with the Lakers, right, how is Schroeder and Harrell going to work with that? What about THT? Is he in the rotation? So there's a lot of question marks here, and that's why I will say, again, two games, there's a lot of variance involved, so do not go crazy here, but I will do my best to kind of go over it and then answer any questions you guys have at the end. The Real Jake Anderson with a $5 super chat already. Don't go crazy in sleep, but go crazy. Let's go. I think that's a good comment. Yeah. Don't go crazy. If you want to, you can. Levert is 50. Let's see. We'll talk about Levert. DK Sleep. What's up, guys? Glad to be here. Glad to be back talking NBA. It was only, a couple-day break between preseason and the regular season, but it felt like an eternity. So super excited for the regular season to finally be here. There's some big tournaments. Obviously, the Millie Maker tonight. I'll talk about, if you're going to try to win this solo, you got to do something different. So take a shot on someone super low owned. Maybe one of those fringe guys that may be in the rotation, may not, right? So maybe a guy like Marquise Chris or THT, Terrence Mann, right? We don't know if they're fully going to be in the rotation. If they are, again, they're going to be all pretty low owned. If they do get in the rotation, that's one way to differentiate yourself if they have the good game. So, we have an hour and a half until lock-in. I'll be on for about 40 minutes to kind of give a brief overview and then answer any questions. So don't worry, guys. Let me give a brief overview here, and then we can get to questions at the end. What's up, guys? How's it going? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So let's start with, let's see. Do we want to go team by team or do we want to go position by position? Let's go team by team. So, well, first let's take a look at the Vegas odds since we actually have these up. When I first made the video, I didn't have them up, and I realized I didn't upload like a portion of the video, so I had to delete it and then re-upload it. That was a little bit annoying a couple nights ago, but Golden State, Brooklyn again. This is the much higher over/under, 234.5. So there's not going to be a ton of defense played in this one. I think if this game does stay close, it probably has a little bit more upside. Now, there's a chance. There's a chance this game could get out of hand. Brooklyn are 7.5-point favorites. We know Golden State, obviously Clay's out for the season. No Draymond in this one. So they're missing two really big pieces here. I think there's a chance this game could blow out. And then Clippers, Lakers, the late night hammer. Obviously excited to watch this one. 219.5 over/under. Lakers are 3-point favorites. There's really three different ways you can attack the slate, right? You can play it kind of safe and maybe get a little bit of exposure to both, or maybe you try a game stack, right? Maybe you stack the late game and kind of hope for the blowout in the first game. Or you feel like the first game stays close, and obviously I think that game probably has a little bit more upside. Then maybe you get a little more exposure there. So, there's really a ton of ways you can go about it. It's all about, your risk tolerance. Do you want to play it safe? Are you going to try to win the Millie solo? So let's start with Golden State, guys. And the news that we got is James Wiseman will start. So this is the big unknown. I talked about it on Twitter, but we have no idea what his minutes are going to be. I have not seen anything on a minutes limit, but I don't think they're going to feed him to the Wolves and play him like 20-plus minutes, right? So, Wiseman starting, yeah. So, again, the big question mark here is the Golden State centers. Wiseman, how does he look? How many minutes does he play? What is Looney's role? What is Marquise Chris's role? Is Marquise Chris for sure going to be in the rotation? I'm not convinced. So there's a lot of unknowns with these Golden State centers. I think you probably, if you're playing a cash game, a 50-50, a double up, I think you look elsewhere. I don't think you want to mess with it. But, for GPPs, there's some upside here if you can get on the right Golden State center. And then we got news that Kyrie and KD won't have a minutes limit. Again, that was kind of expected. Did not really expect either to be limited. And then that starting lineup with Kyrie, Dinwiddie, Harris, Durant, and DeAndre Jordan. That is what we expected. Warriors will start Curry, Oubre, Wiggins, Pascal, and Wiseman. So we figured Pascal would start for Draymond. I think he looks like one of the best value plays at the slate. And then Wiseman, again, the Golden State center is the center position is the big unknown on this one. Okay, guys, we are already at 250 viewers. That is insane this fast. If you guys do enjoy this content, would really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's try to aim for 100 likes on this one. Well, all right, let's start with Golden State here. And Steph Curry at the top at 9.3K. I think looks like a nice option, a good spin up for sure. Just because Golden State, if they're going to stay in it, most likely going to be because of a big game from Steph Curry here. Wow, Paul McCarthy with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Super generous of you. Wow, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Fantasy Labs, let's see. Fantasy Labs said he will be limited short spurts. Did that just come out? Okay. Thank you for sending that. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So James Wiseman will play in short spurts Tuesday. So what does that mean? I think a fair guess here with Wiseman in short spurts is probably 4 to 5 minute stints. So I would say he plays 16 to 20 minutes. I think that's a pretty fair guess, right? 4 to 5 minutes in each quarter, short spurts. I think that's about what we get from Wiseman. 4.9K. It's a risky play. It is. We'll get to him, but with that news coming out, we know that he's not going to play a ton of minutes, right? And I think a pretty fair guess is around that 15 to 20 minute mark for James Wiseman. Nets lineups out. Yep, we just went over that. That means Pascal. Yeah, I think Pascal is one of the better value plays. So, but yeah, back to Steph Curry again. If they're going to stay in this game, it's most likely going to be because of Steph. With them missing Clay, with Draymond being out. He has a ton of upside. We've seen it so far in the preseason, right? And when he gets hot, like he can easily break the slate at this price. So I think Steph is a good spend up option, definitely someone I'm considering, but he's not a must play. And the reason being is there's a lot of stars on the slate, right? We have Kyrie, we have KD, we have Kawhi, we have Paul George, we have LeBron, we have Anthony Davis. So if you do go that stars and scrubs build, you can only pick 3. So, yeah, he is not a must play. But like I said, if Golden State stays in this game, I think most likely it's going to be because of a big game from Steph Curry. Now, the mid-range guys. So, guys like Wiggins, Oubre. These guys are going to go overlooked. Just because I think, again, the popular build will kind of be that stars and scrubs build. Wiggins is someone I usually don't like playing. He's had some big games here, but again, that was when Steph Curry was out. With Steph Curry in the lineup, he obviously takes a back seat. He is at times relying on scoring. I feel like Wiggins hurts you more than he helps you, but he still possesses upside and he will be low owned. So I'm not saying cross him off, but he's not someone I'm really going to jam in. And kind of the same thing with Oubre. I think Oubre might have the slightly higher floor than Wiggins. He's a guy that can get it done a little bit more with rebounds and assists and blocks and steals. 6-7, though, it feels right. Like, I think we probably get 30-plus minutes from Wiggins and Oubre. Again, they're going to kind of be the 2A, 2B in this offense. I think they're decent options. And if you want to get a little bit contrarian, the mid-range is the way to get a little bit contrarian. So Wiggins, Oubre, they're okay options, but more contrarian on this slate just because taking price in consideration. If you do play one of them, then most likely you can only play 2 stars. Now, again, Draymond Green is out, so mentioned this in my video, but Eric Pascal 3.8K, in my opinion, is one of the better value plays of the slate. I expect we probably get close to 30 minutes. I think 25 to 30. He's a guy that is kind of like a Draymond Green-esque, not as good as Draymond, but he can fill up the stat sheet. He'll get you assists, rebounds. He can get you some blocks and steals and score the ball. So 3.8K for Pascal, I think is just too cheap, assuming he probably gets close to the 30-minute mark. So Eric Pascal is one of my favorite value plays on the slate. He's going to be popular, but I really do like him. Now, Kevon Looney at 5'2", with Wiseman playing, I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. At this price, I don't know if it's worth it, right? Because if we get 15 to 20 minutes out of Wiseman, how many minutes do we get out of Looney? Is Chris in the rotation? So I think we probably get a 15 to 20 from Wiseman, maybe like 15 or so from Looney, and possibly like 10 to 15 from Chris. At this price, if we only get about 15 minutes from Looney, I don't think he's someone that I'm really going to go out of my way to play. There's other centers at similar prices I prefer. So Looney is a guy that I'm going to look elsewhere to. Now, again, Wiseman, do you want to take a shot here? He's going to play in short spurts. I think 15 to 20 minutes is a pretty fair guess for this guy. It's an unknown, right? How is he going to gel in his offense? He's a skilled offensive player, but we didn't see him at all in the preseason. How is he going to work? We don't know. So 4.9K is, I think he's just more of a GPP play. I don't think you can go there in cash game setting. The value plays for Golden State, Bazemore 4-3 did not play a ton in the preseason, was playing about 15 minutes. So I think we probably get similar run from him, 15-ish minutes at 4-3. I probably would prefer some other value plays. I don't think I'm going to play Jordan Poole either. Now, Marquise Chris intrigues me at 4K, but he's a contrarian option. He is, because I'm not fully convinced he's going to be in the rotation. I think Looney backs up Wiseman. Will they do a 3-center rotation? I think they will, but it's not like fully locked in stone that Marquise Chris will, in fact, play. Now, if I knew Marquise Chris was going to get like 15-ish minutes, then he becomes a lot more viable. But it's just the minutes with these Golden State centers is kind of up in the air. So they all have risk. The other options in Golden State, I probably don't get to anyone else. Wanamaker, I think, is the only other guy I think is in consideration just because he's the price, right? He's basically mid in price. He's going to back up Steph, I think, 10 to 15 minutes around there. He's going to be a low-owned play, but if you need someone super, super cheap, I think you can do worse. So that really wraps up for Golden State. If we move on to Brooklyn, no limits for KD, no limits for Kyrie. So I think both are good options if you can get to them. If they were priced about the same, I would have preferred KD, but we have, a $1,300 difference there. So Brad Wanamaker, sleeper? Yeah, I think I would put him as a sleeper category. I think he's going to be pretty low owned. But yeah, KD versus Kyrie, also really close, right? Like, it's basically a coin flip there. If they were the same price, I would prefer KD, but the $1,300 difference is close. KD is a guy that will probably get it done a little bit more with rebounding and blocks, but Kyrie probably has a little bit more, a guy that can get you more assists and obviously can score the ball. So it's a close one here. Now, can you play both these top Brooklyn guys? I think you can. I think you can play both KD and Kyrie. If I was going to do that, though, I think I'd probably just game stack it. So outside of game stacking, I don't think I play both. And again, you have to make a tough call on which one you go to if you do pick one of those Brooklyn guys, the top guys. I expect minutes-wise, again, no minutes limit. I think 32 to 35, around there. Low to mid-30s minutes is what I'm thinking for those top two guys. Now, the mid-range guys, LeVert and Dinwiddie, these are also kind of question marks because last season both had great seasons because Kyrie went down and the offense basically ran through these two guys. Now, how are they going to work with playing with high-usage guys like KD and Kyrie? It's a little bit more up in the air. How many minutes do they get? Well, Dinwiddie's starting. LeVert off the bench. Probably Dinwiddie plays a few more minutes, but I think I prefer LeVert off the bench, kind of a high usage guy off the bench. Again, that's close, but both are in play. But I would say the same thing about Golden State. Right? I think they're more contrarian options because I think the popular build is to try to get to 3 stars in your lineup. And if you play one of these mid-range guys, it's not saying you can't. Like, you can probably play Dinwiddie or LeVert and still get 3 stars, but then it's going to be tight. Like, you're going to have to play a lot of value from there. Jarrett Allen, DeAndre Jordan, like, they'll probably get 20-ish minutes each. 6'2" and 5'6" feels a little pricey. Not saying they're out of play, but not really guys I'm overly excited about. Now, kind of the value here for Brooklyn, I think Joe Harris is firmly in play for value, but know what you're getting out of Joe Harris, right? He's a guy that kind of rely on the scoring. Minutes-wise for him, I think like about 30, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but I would say around that 30-minute mark. Again, relying on his scoring, so it does have a pretty low floor, but I think the minutes will be high enough, and at this price, he should get some open looks playing alongside KD, Kyrie, Dinwiddie, LeVert. So I think Joe Harris firmly in play here for value, but does have a somewhat low floor. The bench guys, besides LeVert, there's really not a ton I like. Shamet, I'll pass on at 4-5. Jeff Green, I don't think so. Bruce Brown, I'll pass. Like, Taurean Prince would probably be the only other guy I look to here, but how many minutes does he get? 15, 20 maybe. I'm not saying he's out of play, but I would put him in that same category as more of a contrarian play. And let's move on to Lakers, Clippers, guys, and then we can get to questions. So, Lakers, Clippers. Let's start with the Clippers side. Kawhi at 9-1, Paul George at 7-8. We kind of know the offense runs through these guys. Kawhi has a much higher floor. Paul George, much lower floor. Obviously, we've seen it, but does possess upside to go out and get you 40 to 50 plus when playing well. It's just, which Paul George will we get this game? So, both Clippers guys obviously in play. I think Kawhi is definitely safer. He's just shown, over last year, he has a much higher floor than Paul George, but you are getting the discount. Now, same thing I'll say about the Brooklyn guys. Can you play both these Clippers guys? I think you can, but if I do that, I probably lean towards more of the game stack in this game and kind of hope for the blowout in the first game. Now, mid-range guys, Lou Williams at 5'4". How many minutes is he going to get? You got a new coach. We'll see. They have other guys with the bench they can use at similar positions, right? They have, Luke Kennard, who they just signed to a big deal. I think they want to give him minutes. Reggie Jackson probably gets some decent run off the bench. Batum will probably start, but, is Terrence Mann in this rotation? So what are the minutes going to be like for Lou? We don't know. I think, about mid-20s is a pretty fair guess for him. He's a guy that does possess upside, but also has shown he has a somewhat low floor when, his shot's not falling. So Lou is a guy that, I think is more of a GPP play. But if we get decent minutes, and who knows, he could get 30 minutes in this game. If that's the case, then he looks a lot better. So a little bit unknown with the minutes, but I think he's a nice GPP play, does have a somewhat low floor, but we've seen some big games from Lou Williams in the past, so definitely firmly in play for GPPs. 400 plus viewers, congrats. Yeah, guys, we are at 400 plus viewers to the live stream. That is insane. Thank you, guys. 89 likes as well. Wow, thank you. That is a lot. So, talked about Lou. Ibaka at 5.2K. So, what are the minutes going to be like for him? What are the minutes going to be like for Ivica Zubac? Well, Ibaka is going to start, I think, probably mid-20s minutes from Ibaka. Low 20-ish minutes for Zubac. Both in play. Ibaka at 5.2, Zubac at 5K. I think you can feel a little bit more comfortable with Ibaka, just because I think he does play a few more minutes. I think he's a guy that he's obviously still a good shot blocker, even getting up there in age. So Ibaka, I do like a decent amount there in the mid range. Zubac firmly in play off the bench as well. I just think Ibaka plays a few more minutes, but it's a close one if you're gonna make me pick between those two. Again, if you want to go Zubac, I think he will be a little bit lower owned than Ibaka. Now, can you play both of them? I don't think I would do it. Obviously, there's negative correlation. They're not really going to be on the court together, so probably wouldn't play them both together here. Let's see. You got to give Lou minutes, though. Yeah, I think mid-20s is a pretty fair guess there for Lou. Wiseman starting there. So Wiseman's going to play in short spurts. So I think 4 to 5 minute spurts. I think 15 to 20 minutes for him is what I'm expecting. Okay, so mentioned Zubac. Reggie at 4.6 probably gets okay run off the bench, but it seems a little bit pricey. Pat Bev at 4.4 should start at point guard. He's a guy that's a good defender, but I will warn you, he's a guy that does get in foul trouble very easily. He's very, very aggressive on the defensive end. So he's a guy that can go out and foul out in 15 minutes. I wouldn't be overly surprised about that. But if we can get 20 to 25 minutes from Beverly, I think he's a fine value option. Patterson, I'm probably not going to look to. Nick Batum at 4.1, I think is fine. I think he starts for Marcus Morris. He's a low usage guy. He's kind of washed at this point in his career, but if we get 25 minutes out of him, I think it's definitely viable. Now, the other bench guys here for the Clippers, I think Luke Kennard is kind of interesting here at 3.6K. They just signed him to a 4-year, $64 million deal. So obviously they like this guy. How many minutes does he get? I think maybe around Lou Williams, maybe a little bit less. But he's also cheaper. Does kind of have a low floor too. But I think he's someone that can pay off his salary at 3.6 if we get 20-ish minutes. So Luke Kennard, firmly in play for value. And the last guy I'll mention is Terrence Mann. I'm not fully convinced he's in this rotation. I think there's a chance he does not play. So this is a situation kind of like Marquise Chris, right? I think there's a chance he doesn't play. Are you willing to take a risk here? He's going to be super, super low owned. He's shown when he's out there, in the preseason, he can still get you some fancy points, but does he even play? Again, I'm not fully convinced he's in the rotation, and I think that really wraps up for the Clippers, guys. So, Batum Blaze defense will get you blocks and steals. Yeah, I mean, I think Batum's fine for value. I think we get mid-20s minutes for him. I think he's perfectly fine for value. Finally, let's talk about the Lakers. So, Lakers, AD, LeBron. Like I said, in this slate, you got to make some tough calls with the studs. There's 6 or 7 studs. You can only play 3, so it's really close. When they're basically the same price, I usually slightly give that to AD, but it's $400 cheaper for LeBron, so it's basically a coin flip there with me and those 2 Lakers guys. I expect mid-30s minutes from both. Obviously, the offense runs through them, so there's not a ton to say about the Lakers guys. I don't really have a strong take on AD versus LeBron. I don't. I think they're both good plays, and the same thing I'll say about Brooklyn and the Clippers, right? Can you play them both in the same lineup? Yes. If I was going to do that, though, I think I would game stack. So if I'm playing LeBron and AD, I probably basically only maybe get 1 or 2 plays in this game and hope for the blowout, and then kind of load up in this late game. So AD, LeBron, at the top, obviously. I think they're obviously safe options. It's just you got to make tough calls. You got to make tough calls in the slate with the spend-ups. The mid-tier guys to the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder at 5'8". I don't think he's available, but I don't think they've announced the starting lineup yet. I think he's going to be in the starting lineup. I think it's going to be LeBron, AD, Schroeder, Marc Gasol, and KCP, but I don't think that's announced yet. Schroeder at 5'8", playing with the starters, I think is definitely in play. How many minutes does he get? I think probably similar minutes to KCP. And KCP would be somewhere in the 20 to 30 minute range in the regular season. I think we get around there for Schroeder. I think 20, 25 to 30, somewhere in the 20 to 30 minute range. At 5'8", I think that's definitely a fine play in the mid range. He's a guy that will be playing alongside high usage guys, right? And LeBron and AD. But he still can get it done. He's still an aggressive player in the offensive end. That's why I like Schroeder, right? He's a guy that when he gets the ball, he will most likely try to shoot it or drive it and kick. So I like that for Schroeder. Again, he's an aggressive player. 5.8K seems about right, but firmly in play in the mid-range. Kuzma at 5'5". He's been playing a ton of minutes in the preseason. Now, I think he comes off the bench in this one. Again, we don't have the starting lineup yet. How many minutes does he get? 20 to 25 or so for Kuzma. At this price, I think he's a little overpriced. I would probably rather get to Schroeder at a similar price or Harrell for a little bit less. Now, Montrezl Harrell at 5'3" is a guy that I think will be pretty popular. What do I expect minutes-wise? Well, he's going to come off the bench again. Gasol's going to start. I think we probably get around 20 minutes from Gasol and maybe 25-ish for Harrell. And you guys know what Montrezl Harrell is, right? He's an energy guy. He's the guy that can get you the offensive boards. He's going to run the pick and roll a decent amount with Schroeder. I think he is definitely in play in the mid-range. I think he's a guy that is a safer option. I think, again, minutes, 20 to 25. He's a guy that can get you the rebounds, the blocks. Montrez firmly in play. Marc Gasol, 4'7". Not saying he's out of play, but I probably prefer other centers on this one. I just think Gasol, at this point in his career, is kind of washed. I don't know if he has a ton of upside. Markieff Morris at 4'3". I don't know if he gets enough minutes for me to really get excited about that price point. But there's a couple prices I actually like here for the Lakers. One being KCP. Now, the same thing I'll say about Joe Harris is know what you're getting into when you play KCP. The floor is low, but I think we can probably expect 25 to 30 minutes from him. With that being said, I think definitely in play for value, right? The minutes will be there. Will he make his shots is in question. So he does still have a somewhat low floor, but I think you can feel pretty comfortable at his minutes. I think 25 to 30, so firmly in play for value. And then Caruso I kind of like for value as well, 4K. There's no more Rajon Rondo, so he should play a decent amount of the backup point guard. They like playing this guy. He's a good defender. I think he does get a pretty decent boost with no Rondo. So Caruso also firmly in play here for value. I think probably 20 to 25 minutes from him. I kind of like KCP. I kind of like Caruso for value. Wes Matthews is probably not someone I'm going to look to. I would just rather go up to KCP or Caruso. And finally, THT. So he's at 3.5K. Same thing I'll say about Terrence Mann. Is THT going to be in this rotation? I'm not fully convinced. Now, the positives with THT are he played a ton in the preseason, and he looked really good. So I think there's a decent chance he will be in this rotation, but I'm not fully convinced, right? Because if you just look above him, right? So, I think everyone above him is probably going to be in the rotation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10 guys above him that I think will probably be in the rotation. So THT would be the 11th man. Will the Lakers run an 11-man rotation? I'm not sure. So again, a risk, but if we can get like maybe 15 minutes out of THT, he's going to be a pretty low-owned play that does possess upside. It's just, again, what's your risk tolerance? I think there's still a chance he does not play. And that really wraps it up, guys. So that's it for my breakdown. Again, went live at 5:30, so I'll stay on for another 15 to 20 minutes to answer any questions. Leave them in the comment section. I'll make sure to get to everyone. So Steph versus KD. That's close. I think I give the edge to Steph Curry. The reason being, KD has Kyrie, KD has Dinwiddie, KD has LeVert. He has some viable offensive players, whereas Steph, little shakier, right? Is Wanamaker too risky for cash? I think you can do it because he's so cheap. He'll play 10 to 15 minutes. If he can get you like 10 to 12 fantasy points, that's probably what you're looking for. AD or KD depends what the rest of your lineup looks like. Like how many Lakers do you have? So it kind of depends. Hard to say without saying your lineup. Straight up, I think KD is the better matchup. So I guess I'll go KD. But yeah, why play Steph when you can play Kyrie? I like the price in Kyrie a decent amount. You don't have to play Steph. Steph greater than Kyrie. It's close. It is close, right? Again, you guys are going to have to make some tough calls with the spend ups tonight. You are. Wanamaker is too risky. It's close. Like, I don't think I would do it. I think there's slightly better value plays for a little bit more. Again, if you feel really, really good about your lineup and Wanamaker's the last one in, I guess you can do it, but don't expect more than 10 to 15 minutes. Do you think there's enough value here to get Kyrie, Steph, and KD in it? Yes, there is. I'm playing both. I got 2 lineups. Okay, core. So core I'm going to be giving on the Patreon live stream, premium live stream. So apologize, can't give core on this free live stream, but happy to answer any questions you guys have. Beverly, Schroeder, or Kennard and Lou Williams. I think the upside is with that second one with Kennard and Lou Williams. I don't think a ton of people play them both. I think you can still do it. So I think safer option is probably the first one, but second one I think has a little bit more upside. Again, guys, I want to reiterate, 2-game slate, so don't go crazy. We also have a 13-game slate tomorrow. That's too many games. So can we just get like a 6 or 7 game slate? That's like the perfect amount of games. And 13 is going to be, that'll be an interesting one tomorrow. But so kind of just went over that. Let's see. Yes, only for Patreon. Apologize, can't give it. Got to save some for the premium subs. Hope you guys can understand that. Sorry if I missed it. Is Jeff Green in the Nets rotation? I think he will be. You thinking stars and scrubs? I think that's what it's setting up for. Yeah. Harrell and LeVert safe for cash? Yes. Let's see. Chris or Wiseman? So I think safer option is Wiseman because he's starting. And he's at least going to be, we know for sure he's going to play. Looney's probably going to back him up. Chris will be the third string. Will Chris be in the rotation? I think there's a chance he might not. So I think Wiseman is safer. Not saying Chris is out of play. He just is. There's a lot of risk involved. LeVert thoughts, I missed it. LeVert and Dinwiddie are kind of tricky. Those are two that I really have a tough time breaking down because they're high usage guys, but they're going to be playing alongside KD, alongside Kyrie. So how is that going to work out? It's going to be interesting to see. I think they're both, plays in the mid. Those two in the mid range have a good amount of upside, and I think if you get to one of them, it's going to kind of differentiate yourself. Maybe you only go 2 stars, and then a couple mid tier guys, Wiggins or Oubre. So for me, it's Oubre. I think he does a little bit more, with rebounds, with assist, whereas Wiggins kind of reliant on the scoring. AD and Gasol or Bron and Wiseman. I'd rather have LeBron and Wiseman. I think Gasol does play a few more minutes than Wiseman, but I think Wiseman will be more productive. Even though we haven't seen him yet, I think 15 to 20 minutes out of Wiseman is probably better than 20 to 22 out of Gasol. Is Wanamaker a true backup to Steph? Yes. Yeah, he's basically just a true backup, so I expect 10 to 15 minutes. What about AD and KD? Again, it's close. I like the matchup a little bit better for KD, so you're really splitting hairs there. Kennard, Joe Harris, or Schroeder and Batum. I think I'd rather have Kennard and Joe Harris. Best value on FanDuel. I haven't looked in FanDuel, unfortunately. I assume Pascal is probably pretty cheap. So Batum or Kennard. For me, it's Kennard there. And I think Batum will be a little bit more popular. Batum's most likely going to start, but I would rather have Kennard off the bench. I think he's just a better player in this point of his career. So I'm going to go Kennard there. Steph, AD, and LeBron, or Steph, Kyrie, and Davis. I think I go the second one because playing Steph and then AD and LeBron, I don't know if it makes a ton of sense. It can work, but you're playing two Lakers and then Steph on the Golden State side. I think the second one makes a little bit more sense. Thoughts on Irving, Curry, Kyrie, Steph, KCP, Batum, Joe Harris, George, AD, Durant, Gasol, and FanDuel. I think it's decent. Again, Gasol is not someone I'm super excited about, but if he's like really cheap over there on FanDuel, I'm good with it. Cash, Curry, Harris, Leonard, Davis, Harrell, Wanamaker, Durant, Pascal. So, okay, that's your lineup. So you have Steph, Joe Harris, Kennard. Steph, Joe Harris, Kennard, Davis, Harrell, Wanamaker, Durant, Pascal. Again, it is a little risky playing Wanamaker and Cash. Maybe rearrange and get to one of those slightly safer value plays. Would you play 4 Golden State players? If I'm game stacking, yeah, you can. Thoughts on DeAndre Jordan? DeAndre Jordan is a little pricey. I think he's still in play, but I think I probably prefer other stars. Yeah, so core I'll be giving in the Patreon live stream. Again, sorry, guys, but got to save some for the premium subscribers. Hoping to understand that. But again, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. Any must value plays? I don't think there's any must plays, but there's a good amount of cheap value plays. I think probably the value plays I feel the best about is probably Pascal, Caruso or Prince. I'm gonna go Caruso there. I think I like that Rondo's no longer there. I think Caruso does play a little bit more backup point guard. What do you think of Montrezl Harrell revenge game narrative? Firmly in play in the mid-range. Firmly in play, 20 to 25 minutes. He's an aggressive player. He can get you the blocks, the steals, the putbacks. Let's see. Plays Pascal in all 10 of my lineups. I don't know if I would go all 10 just because something crazy could happen, but I would say 80 to 90%. Steph, LeBron, Anthony Davis, good for cash. Yeah, you can do it. But you're playing 1 in Golden State and then 2 in the Lakers. If I'm playing cash, I probably want a little even, maybe like Steph, one of those Lakers, and then maybe one of the Nets or one of the Clippers guys, if that makes sense. What do you think of Montrezl Harrell revenge game? Again, just went over that. Can you play Kennard and Batum together? There's going to be negative correlation there. I think they're going to play kind of the same position. I probably wouldn't. I think, again, if I had to pick there, I like Kennard coming off the bench. I think he does play less minutes, but I think he's just a better player. How does this sound? Curry, Kennard, Harris, Pascal, Zubac, Kyrie, Harrell, and LeBron. No issue there. Patreon's in the description if you're interested. Yes, that is for premium. Batum in play for value. Yes, he's in play. I think he starts, probably gets 25 minutes. Thoughts on Pascal, I think looks like one of the better value plays of the slate. Curry, Schroeder, KCP, KD, Chris, Harris, Horton, and Kyrie. It's risky. You're playing Marquise Chris. You're playing Horton Tucker. There's a chance both don't play. But if they do get in the rotation, they do get decent minutes. Yes. They have upside at low ownership. FanDuel, you can't fit Steph, Kyrie, Paul George, AD, and Bazemore, Kennard. I like Kennard a little bit better. Harrell or Wiseman. Harrell's safer. We kind of know Harrell's role. Wiseman, I think 15 to 20 minutes. We haven't really seen him yet. So it's just, again, we haven't seen him gel with the offense. How is he going to work? We don't know. So I think Harrell's a little bit safer. But Wiseman, the ownership should be decently low on him. Can you play Kyrie and Dinwiddie together? Yes, you can do that. Thoughts on Curry, Kennard, Joe Harris, Davis, Ibaka, Irving, Pascal, Beverly? No issue there. Wiseman, Looney, or Gasol? Of those three, I think I go Wiseman. I think I do. Oubre and Kennard or LeVert and Batum? Oubre and Kennard or LeVert and Batum? That's close. Like, I like LeVert better than Oubre, but I do prefer Kennard to Batum. I'll go the second one because I'm just a big Harris LeVert fan. Ibaka minutes, I think about 25. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Bazemore, Kennard for me. As someone knows DFS and any reason, is there any reason to use Yahoo DFS over DraftKings? I think it's easier competition at Yahoo. So yes, DraftKings I think is strict or is better competition. Steph, Caruso, Kennard, Pascal, Davis, Irving, Oubre, Batum, no issue there. Jared Allen or DeAndre. I'd rather have Allen off the bench. How do we get into premium? It's in the description below. Patreon. DK just bought the Patreon, hoping for a great night. Much love from Jersey. Hey, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Again, I'll be live for Patreon at 6:30 Eastern, so I'll be wrapping up this live stream in about 5 to 10 minutes, guys. Thoughts on Damian Lee? I already have Kennard. I think it's a stretch. I don't think I'll go to Damian Lee. Let's see. How does it sound? Curry, Kennard, Harris, Pascal, Zubac, Irving, Harrell, LeBron. I think that's good. Lou Williams or Harrell for my utility spot. I think Harrell is a safer option. Lou Williams probably has a little bit more upside. AD or LeBron, splitting hairs there. If I had to pick, I'll go LeBron, but it's basically 50-50. Can you play Kennard and Batum in the same line? I don't think I would. If you had to, Jordan or Allen for me off the bench, I like that he'll probably play with the second unit. How many minutes do you think for Harrell? I think 20 to 25. Joe Harris and Montrezl Harrell or Schroeder and KCP. Harrison, Harrell, or Schroeder and KCP. I'll go the first option. Wanamaker, okay, and DK. It's a dart throw, I think 10 to 15 minutes, but he is basically mid-price. Lakers blowout, AD, LeBron sit fourth quarter, definitely possible. Kuzma or Pascal, one lineup, Pascal for the price. Kyrie or Kawhi, I like the price a little bit better on Kyrie. Both have a ton of upside. Eat the Pascal chalk. I think he's a safe option. Don't have to play him in all your lineups and making a ton, but I think he does look like probably the best value. I'm sitting here with 1K extra, but love my lineup. Leave. Yes. So if you're playing the Millie Maker, I think you can leave like 1K, and that's one way to differentiate yourself. Ibaka or Lou Will utility. I think Ibaka is slightly safer. Same thing I'll say about Harrell. Like those guys have a little bit higher floor, but Lou Will, if he's getting a shot going, I think has a little bit more upside. Kyrie, Curry, Wiggins, Pope, Batum, James, AD, Kuz, Allen. I think that's fine. Thoughts on Looney? I'm not really on Looney at this price. With Wiseman starting, I think we'll probably get 15-ish minutes from Looney. Chris or Pascal? Pascal for sure is safer. Chris, not fully convinced will be the rotation. If he does, I think he can get you there in 15 minutes. Best plays at center depends on where you're looking at. Where you're looking for salary, 80 at the top, obviously, but I think Ibaka, Harrell look pretty decent. Did you cover Harrell from this? Yeah, so Harrell is, I think, plays 20 to 25 minutes off the bench. He's an energy guy. I think he'll be decently popular. He's a guy that, again, gets you block steals, the putbacks. I think he's firmly in play. George or Kyrie, I think I like the upside a little bit more on Kyrie. I think the floor is also still a little higher on Kyrie too. Can you play Batum and Luke? No, I don't think I would. So Ibaka and Zubac both starting. Which one would you lean in more? No, Ibaka's starting. Zubac is coming out the bench, unless I missed something. Kuzma or Pascal in one lineup. Pascal. Bazemore over Pascal for leverage. It's super contrarian. It is. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying Bazemore can't outscore Pascal. So depends on your risk tolerance. Like if I'm making one lineup, I wouldn't do it. If I'm making 10 lineups, then maybe you can do it in one or two. Quinn Cook can play. I don't think he plays. Can you play KD and Kyrie? Yes, you can. If I do that, I'd probably game stack. Thoughts on playing no Lakers? Viable. Kennard, high ownership. Not a must play, but I kind of like him as a cheap option. Don't have to play him though. Ibaka or Lou at utility. Again, Ibaka slightly safer. Lou has more upside. What's Shamit's role? 15-ish minutes or so. I don't think I'm really looking to him. Tony Snell ruled out. Slate breaking news. Kawhi or LeBron? Close there. Kawhi's a little bit cheaper. Tough. I think LeBron will be a little bit higher owned. So if you're going for the ownership, maybe go Kawhi. But yeah, that's really, really close. Again, you got to make some tough calls there. I don't have a super, super strong take in like the top guys, unfortunately. Bazemore over Pascal for leverage. Again, it's risky. KCP or Kennard, that's close. That is close. I like them both for value. I'll go KCP because I think he plays a few more minutes. Do you think Bazemore? Do you like Bazemore at all? I think he gets 15-ish minutes, maybe 20. Zubac thoughts? I think he's a contrarian play off the bench, 20-ish minutes. Thank you, of course. No way I'm playing Harrell. Don't have to play Harrell. There's other options. Kyrie, Curry, Kennard, KCP, Oubre, Leonard. But that looks good. Thoughts on Curry? Blah blah blah. I think I like that. Do you like more Jeff Green or Prince? I'd rather play Torian Prince. Wanamaker, PG3, LeBron, Pascal, Chris. Okay, I think that's fine for GPPs. You're taking some shots, right? Wanamaker's going to be low owned. Chris is going to be low owned. Everything else still looks pretty good. Harrell or Ibaka, that's close. That's really close. Basically flip a coin there. I don't have a super strong take. I think Ibaka probably plays a couple more minutes, but yeah, that's really close. Michael Mulder, no, I don't think he plays. Based on matchups, I'm taking AD over LeBron. AD is going to destroy Batum. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. Harrell, Zubac, or Jordan. Of those three, I think Harrell probably is the best option. Beverly, Harris, Pascal, Wiseman, Curry, Davis. I think that's fine. Kyrie or blah, 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 Leonard. Yep, that's good. Rank the Clippers. So safest option is clearly Kawhi at the top. Paul George, more of a GPP play, but does have upside. He can go out and get your 50 if he's shooting well, but does have a low floor. The value for the Clippers, again, Lou Williams has upside in the mid-range. Harrell, I think, is a safer, or not Harrell, Ibaka, I think, is a safer option. And then you can look to some cheap guys on the bench, or like, Batum who starts, or a guy like Luke Kennard. I kind of like it coming out the bench. KCP, a good play. Yeah, I think same thing I'll say about Joe Harris. You know what you're getting at a KCP. about 30 minutes. He's scoring dependent, so he does have a somewhat low floor. But if he can hit like a few threes and play 30-ish minutes, he can probably get you 20 fantasy points firmly and play for value. Zubac and Ibaka both starting. Really? I don't think so. Unless I missed something, Zubac's going to come off the bench and Ibaka's going to start. So Clippers starting lineup will be Pat Bev, Kawhi, Paul George, Batum, and Ibaka. Do you cover Showdown Premium? Yes, I actually make for the NBA Showdown sites and NFL. NBA, I make private roster construction videos to go over it. Who's your favorite GPP dart throw? I think Marquise Chris. Again, I think there's a decent chance he doesn't play, but if he can get like 15 minutes, he can get you. Thanks, man. I'll be on Patreon soon. Appreciate that. Thank you. Kuzma over Lou. I would rather have Lou. Thoughts on Jarrett Allen? More of a contrarian option. He can get it done, though, in 20 minutes. I feel a little bit better about other centers. Who's winning tonight? You mean teams-wise? I think Brooklyn and the Lakers. DK, will you still tweet news? Yes, if I see any big news, I will definitely tweet it. So make sure to follow me on Twitter, guys. I'll keep you guys updated if there's anything. I think Nets and Lakers, blah, blah, blah. Jordan, okay, thanks for all your help. Thoughts, man. Great service. We'll sub to premium soon. Good luck to everyone. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Jordan Poole, Caruso, or Damian Lee? Caruso. I'm not fully convinced Poole or Lee play, so Caruso for sure there. Thoughts on... wait, who's that? Schroeder or Dinwiddie? That's a close one in the mid-range. I'll go Dinwiddie, but it's really, really close. What are you going to cover on premium? There's a lot. It's if you click on Patreon, I have everything listed down below with everything that I offer. DK, you're the man. Let's get this money. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Again, guys, we hit close to 500 viewers for regular season live stream. Thank you so much. We hit 150 likes. That is crazy, guys. Favorite non-chalk value. Non-chalk value, again, I think, well, there's the chalk value we kind of went over. If you want someone super contrarian or super, or maybe lower, I think a really risky play is Chris, because we're not fully convinced he's going to be in the rotation. But I think Caruso goes a little bit overlooked. Caruso, 4K. I think he does play the backup point guard. I think we get 20 to 25 minutes from him. I think he's kind of a sneaky value play. Okay to play Kennard, Lou, and Kawhi in the same lineup, yes. Batum or KCP, I'd rather have KCP. Pat Bev or Lou if you can get to him. Is Wiseman a no-go with only playing short spurts? He's still in play. It's just an unknown. It's a big question mark. Really risky. I think we get 15 to 20 minutes. Thoughts on Pascal, one of the better value plays. Kennard and Harrell or Batum and Beverly. I'm going to stay in line for a couple more minutes, guys. Kennard and Harrell or Batum. First one. First option for sure. Looney or Gasol. I don't really want to play either, but I'll go Gasol. Great info. Thank you. Of course, man. Kyrie, Lou Will, or LBJ AD. Wait, what? Kyrie Lou Will, or LB? Definitely the second option, right? Unless I'm missing something. Kennard and Harrell or Batum and Beverly. Yeah, it's the first one. Kennard and Harrell over Batum and Beverly for sure. Is Wiseman is in your lineup? I'm still tweaking my lineup, to be honest. Again, it's a really, really risky play if you do play Wiseman. Top three value plays can't really go. I kind of talked about the value plays I feel the best about. Kennard and Harrell or Batum and Beverly. Yeah, first one for sure. Lou, Kuz, Ibaka. Depends. I think for safety, Ibaka. For the upside is Lou. Thoughts on Jordan? Contrarian option. I think I like other centers. Pat Bev or Caruso for GPP. I think Pat Bev is safer, but I think Caruso goes lower owned. So tough one there. Depends on your risk tolerance. Pat Bev definitely safer. Kyrie, KCP, or Paul George and Joe Harris. I'll go with the first option. Thoughts on Curry, Harris, Kennard, KD, Wiseman, Kyrie, Pascal, and one of Ibaka or Harrell. I like that a lot. How do you feel about PG, Paul George points? Paul George is a GPP play for me. Does have a low floor, but when getting it going, he can go for 50 plus. Harrell or Kuzma, Harrell for me. Curry, Caruso, Kennard, Pascal, Davis, George, Oubre, Harris. What do you think? I think that's perfectly fine. Kawhi and AD or Kawhi and KD. Really, you're splitting hairs there. I like the matchup a little bit better for KD, so I guess Kawhi and KD. Paul George, who is your absolute must play? And I think Pascal is probably the best value, the safest value. Oubre or LeVert. Oubre is safer. I feel better about his minutes, but I kind of like LeVert in the mid-range as a GPP play, so I'll go LeVert. Batum or Caruso cash. It probably is Batum there because the minute he will play some more minutes. Kennard or Wanamaker? Kennard for sure. See you in Patreon. Sounds good, man. One more minute, guys. Then we got out here. I got to get ready for the Patreon live stream. Who are you considering paying up for that you don't think a lot of people will be on? I guess that's a tough one to answer because I don't think that the spin ups I'm playing are super contrarian. So I don't have a good answer there. Markieff Morris, no thanks. Will Terrence Mann break the rotation over Reggie Jackson? Yeah, I don't know, right? That's a question. I'm not fully convinced Reggie will play either. Will Terrence Mann be in the rotation? I don't know. So tough one there. But all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for everyone coming to check out the live stream. I really do appreciate it. I'll have a video up for the 13 game slate tomorrow on my YouTube channel to go over everything. And Patreon subscribers, I'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. So thanks again, guys. Good luck tonight, and I will see you all later.